There's a couple of reasons that helped me come into the science of reading, what we call now the science of reading. And a special someone definitely has something to do with that, and that is my son. When he was in second grade, he was diagnosed with severe dyslexia as well as depression. That started me on my journey because I said, gosh, I'm a teacher and I've never learned about dyslexia. It was my first year teaching kindergarten, and so it was the first time I began to grow uneasy with some of the methods I had been taught to teach reading previously.
This is the way, hey, we start our day, hey!
And it took me on this journey, so I began to research, what do students with dyslexia need to learn to read? Well, that brought me to, what does everyone need to learn to read?
Oh, toe!
So mostly training myself at first, and then getting some trainings. I wrote a grant to get a training. I'm so proud of our state that we have letters training now. I love having a good screener, and I love Acadians. That is just one of my favorite assessments. There's so much research behind it. Stool, stool.
Stool, stool.
And then I can take that, and that doesn't tell me enough. So it tells me like who's at risk, but now I gotta dive a little deeper to see what those students need. I see BIP here, BIP, check your B hand. And then I can look and say, oh, this student is not making a lot of progress in the last 2 weeks. What could I do? What could I do to help this student?
Wouldn't it be funny if I whistled?
I love using explicit instruction in my classroom. That is key. And so many students need that. Now, a lot of times teachers want to skip from I do to you do, but the we do is really important that we do that. The people take a dip in the cool pool. Say it with me. The people take a dip in the cool pool. Explicit instruction is not just the teacher up there talking all the time. It's I do something, they do something. I say something, they say something. Food.
Food.
Our principal has gotten us some really solid programs that we can use in the classroom to help us support us while we're trying to do that explicit instruction. There's just so much good information, and it's been fun to learn together with all the other teachers at our school. Let's go ahead and start your sentence. Tier 1 instruction is always one of the most important things. That needs to be so strong. But there are always students who are going to need more. Some students can see something and they've got it in like 4 exposures. And other kids, they need a lot of practice and a lot of exposure to that before it's automatic for them.
They've got it.
The biggest difference is in the assessments that I use and my observations, because I can look and I'm working with kids in small group and I can see when they need a little more of something. Sound.
Ooh.
Word.
Moon.
We're coming back and we're going to practice that OO spells ooh for the next couple days. I'm going to give them word lists and they're going to read it.
We can both go.
Then I'm going to give them a passage that has a lot of words with that OO so they can get that practice. If you have students who struggle or students with dyslexia, they don't need something completely different than everyone else. Whistle for Willie. What they will need is more opportunities to practice that. And so they'll need a little more help and a little more scaffolding with you. I still like to have a goal every year that I want to focus on. Like 1 year it was I want to improve my vocabulary instruction because I feel like that's not as strong, so I'm going to do that. If we need to protect that I, you've got to double the T. Now I'm trying to focus more on oral language and how I can bring that more into my classroom and be more intentional. And so just being flexible and being willing to grow. I just love learning and then just applying what I've learned with my son and with my students has been amazing, and it's made all the difference.